Congratulations, you just paid $45 million this year to a 6'10" genetic anomaly who refuses to shoot a basketball, missed 30 games with a sore back, and spent his weekend playing Call of Duty in a silk robe. Welcome to the NBA, the only place on earth where a guy can get paid 50 grand every single minute he sits on a bench in street clothes, while you, the billionaire owner, get extorted by local politicians for a new arena with a gold-plated sauna. Now, if you have a functioning prefrontal cortex, you're probably asking, why would any rational human being spend $2 billion to buy 5 guys in tank tops running back and forth on shiny hardwood? Well, grab your Gatorade and sit down, because the answer involves taxpayer hostage situations. A tax system designed by financial psychopaths, and a former Microsoft CEO screaming like a demonic cheerleader, while his net worth explodes by $3 billion. Let me explain. Okay, so let's say you're a fresh new billionaire. Maybe you inherited a conglomerate that makes cardboard boxes, or you created a microchip that goes inside smart fridges. You're feeling rich, you walk into the NBA League office, slap a $100 million stack on the table, and go, "Greetings, fellow rich people, I would like one basketball team, please." And Adam Silver, a man who looks like a very polite, futuristic alien, looks at your check, smiles, and says, "Oh, sweetie, that's cute. Please leave before security throws you out the window." Weird flex, but okay. See, you can't just buy a basketball team anymore. The cheapest, most depressing, most miserable team in the league, a team in a city where it rains 8 months a year, and their star player wants a trade every Tuesday, costs at least $2 billion.
If you want a team in Los Angeles or New York, try $4 to $5 billion.
That's right, for the cost of one NBA team, you could literally buy a small island nation, hire a private navy, and declare yourself emperor. But instead, you're buying 50% of a stadium lease and 5 guys who can jump really high. And here's the best part, even after you drop $2 billion to buy the team, you haven't actually built anything yet. You've just bought the right to start burning money at a light speed velocity. So you bought the team, fantastic. Now comes your annual operational budget, where your bank account gets beaten up behind a dumpster. Running an NBA franchise costs about $200 to $300 million every single year. Where does all that money go? Well, let's look at the roster payroll from hell. First, the players. In the NBA, player contracts are 100% fully guaranteed. That means if you sign a guy to a 5-year, $200 million contract, you have to pay him every single penny. Even if he gets lazy, even if he gets fat, even if he decides he hates basketball and wants to become a full-time SoundCloud rapper. To put that in perspective, paying a player $40 million a year means he earns roughly $13,000 every single second he is on the court. If he stops to tie his shoelaces during a game, that shoelace tying session just cost you more than a school teacher makes in a month. You're literally paying a guy a mortgage payment to double knot his Nikes. And what happens if your $40 million star player gets injured or just decides he doesn't feel like playing? Gentlemen, meet the Ben Simmons financial phenomenon. You're paying a guy $50 million a year, and his stats for the month are 0 points, 0 rebounds, and 4 insane Instagram outfits worn from the bench. If you tried that at your normal corporate job, showing up to the office in a bright neon suit, sitting in the corner playing Candy Crush and demanding $10 million, you'd be escorted out by SWAT. But in the NBA, that's just Tuesday. Now, you might think, whatever, I'm a billionaire. I'll just spend $400 million and buy every superstar in the league. Hahaha, cute. Enter the NBA luxury tax. The NBA doesn't have a hard spending limit like F1. Instead, they have a tax threshold around $170 million. If you spend more than that on player salaries, the league doesn't stop you. They just fine you at an exponential penalty rate. If you go $20 million over the limit, you don't just pay $20 million. Because of the repeater tax, you pay a 4-to-1 penalty. That means a team like the Golden State Warriors or Phoenix Suns can end up paying a $100 million tax fine directly to the league. Where does that penalty money go? It gets handed directly to the cheap owners who refuse to spend money. Read that again. The league literally takes money from the rich, ambitious owners who want to win and hands it as a free welfare check to the cheap, stingy owners who run their teams like a dollar store. It's corporate communism wrapped in an orange basketball. And now we arrive at my absolute favorite part of NBA ownership, the arena extortion. Let's say your stadium is 20 years old. The seats are a little dusty. The Jumbotron doesn't have 8K resolution. What do? Pay for a new stadium with your own billions? Absolutely not. What are you, a peasant instead? You walk into the city council office, look the mayor in the eye and go, "Hey, Mr. Mayor, it'd be a real shame if this basketball team suddenly packed its bags and moved to Las Vegas or Seattle next year. We need a new $500 million arena." And the taxpayers are paying for it. And the city panics. They raise sales taxes on local groceries, cut school budgets, and hand $500 million of public tax money to a guy worth $10 billion so he can build a shiny new stadium with velvet VIP suites. To put that in perspective, local taxpayers literally subsidize a billionaire's real estate project so they can have the privilege of buying a $22 cold hot dog and a $14 draft beer at a game. It is the greatest real estate fleece in modern human history. David Copperfield Bakersfield couldn't make $500 million disappear faster. So at this point in the video, you're sitting there asking, wait, if players cost $50 million to sit on the bench, the league fines you $100 million in luxury tax and stadiums cost $500 million. Why does anyone buy an NBA team? Aha, welcome to the punchline. Because an NBA team isn't a business. It's a monopoly asset with zero risk. First, the NBA has a global TV and media rights deal worth around $76 billion over 11 years. That means before a single fan buys a ticket, before a single jersey is sold, every single team gets a guaranteed $200+ million check from ESPN, NBC, and Amazon every single year, just for existing. Second, team valuations don't just go up, they explode in 2014. Former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer bought the Los Angeles Clippers for $2 billion. Everyone on Wall Street laughed at him. They said, "Steve, you idiot, you overpaid by $1 billion." Fast forward to today, the Clippers are worth over $4.5 billion. Steve Ballmer gained $2.5 billion in net worth by high-fiving players and screaming like an excited goblin on the sideline. And here's the ultimate tax secret billionaires won't tell you. Under US tax law, when you buy an NBA team, you get to write off 90% of the purchase price over 15 years, using something called asset amortization. Translation, a billionaire can use their NBA teams on paper losses to wipe out tens of millions of dollars in income taxes on their other giant corporations. You are literally using a basketball team as a 6'8" tax shield. So let's wrap this up before Adam Silver sends a satellite strike to my house. You drop $2 billion just to buy the team, you pay a guy $50 million a year to double knot his shoelaces and miss 30 games. You get fined $100 million in luxury tax for trying to win. You bully a city into building you a $500 million stadium using tax dollars, and 10 years later, your asset is worth $5 billion while wiping out your tax bill. Is it insane? Absolutely. Is it fair to taxpayers? Not even a little bit. Will rich guys keep doing it? Bro, they'd trade their own kids for an NBA franchise. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe right now. Or else Steve Ballmer is going to show up at your house and scream in your face for 20 minutes straight. Go check out my videos on F1 or football club economics next. Peace out.